Hello again. This is Math 1120 coming to you from the College of DuPage, and this is the conclusion of the lecture entitled Fancy Counting and Such. We left off having just discovered the formula for computing combinations, and so let's look at some examples here. This is 4 combinations taken one at a time, 6 combinations taken 4 at a time, and 6 combinations taken 2 at a time. And doing this by hand, we use the formula, and we will get 4. This 3 factorials cancel here. We will get 15. The 4 factorials cancel, and the 2 goes into 30 15 times. And here, the 4 factorials cancel, and the 2 goes into 6 3 times, or 2 goes into 30. You could think about it a different way, but you get 15 for each of those. And there are symmetries associated with these things. They're called binomial coefficients, and these two things are equal, but we're not going to cover that in this course. We are going to talk about technology approaches in this course in the VCM lectures, and those will be recorded for everyone's benefit. Okay, so here's a problem for you though. You want to do number 19. So found the value for each combination. This is 8, choose 3. This is if you had 8 people, how many different ways could you choose 3 people from the 8? Order doesn't matter because it's a combination. You know what to do. Let's see how you did. Okay, so here's the formula. You plug it in, you do the 8 minus 3 to get 5 factorial. 5 factorial will cancel into this, so you just have 8 times 7 times 6 left, but the 3 factorial is still there. And you can do some more canceling. 3 will go into the 6, and 2 will go into the 8. But in any event, you will get 56 for the answer. Let's look at another problem, and this problem is about simple random samples. How many different simple random samples of size 4 can be obtained from a population whose size is 20? Now, the 20 individuals in the population are distinct. In addition, the order in which the individuals are selected is unimportant. The only thing that matters is were they selected or not. So we're going to use the number of simple random samples of size 4 from a population of size 20 is a combination of n equal 20 objects taken r equal 4 at a time. So this is the formula that we use. We plug those numbers in, and we do the calculation. The 16 factorials will cancel, and a bunch of these will cancel into that, and you get 4, 8, 4, 5 different simple random samples of size 4 from a population whose size is 20. Why don't you try one? How many different simple random samples of size 5 can be obtained from a population whose size is 50? You know what to do. Let's see how you did. So it is 50, choose 5, and this is the part of the calculation. And it's a little better than 2 million. Actually, that's quite a bit over 2 million are possible. We deal with big numbers when we're doing this kind of thing. Okay, now we move on to a different kind of problem. Now we're going to talk about solving counting problems involving permutations, but now the items are non-distinct. And I'll say more about this. Sometimes we want to arrange objects in order. That means it's a permutation, but some of the objects are not distinguishable. And so this problem sort of introduces this issue. So a DNA sequence consists of a series of letters representing a DNA strand that spell out the genetic code. There are 4 possible letters, A, C, G, and T, each representing a specific nucleotide base in the DNA strand. And here's the names of those for you. How many distinguishable sequences can be formed using 2 A's, 2 C's, 3 G's, and 1 T? Now the point of this problem is you can't tell the difference between those two A's or those two C's or those three G's or that one T. So the point is that some of these things are indistinguishable one from another. But you can tell a C from an A and a G from the others and a T from those and so on and so forth. Okay, so here's the approach. Each sequence formed will have 8 letters because these add up to 8. 2, 2, 3, and 1 add up to 8. So there are 8 letters. So the process of forming a sequence consists of 4 tasks. Choose the positions for the 2 A's, and then we'll choose the positions for the 2 C's, then choose the positions for the 3 G's, and then choose the position for the 1 T. Now, task 1 can be done in 8 choose 2 ways because we're choosing the 2 positions for A. But the order doesn't matter because we can't distinguish between the 2 A's. This leaves 6 positions to be filled, so task 2 can be done in 6 choose 2 ways. This leaves 4 positions to be filled, so task 3 can be done in 4 choose 3 ways. And the last position can be filled in 1 choose 1 way, that is exactly 1. So the multiplication rule says we multiply all those things together. So here are the definitions of 8 choose 2, 6 choose 2, 4 choose 3, and 1 choose 1. We multiply them all together and rearrange them, and we get this answer. So there are 1,680 possible distinguishable sequences that can be formed. Now this motivates this formula, and so I will give it to you now. The number of permutations of n objects, and order does matter here, of which n1 are of one kind, n2 are of a second kind, and nk are of a third kind, are given by. So here you will take n factorial over n1 factorial times n2 factorial dot 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 all the way down to nk factorial, and n, this number, is the sum of those k's, and so you might end up having some of these be 1s. So let's apply that problem then to a signaling thing that ships use about arranging flags. How many different vertical arrangements are there of 10 flags if 5 are white? So you see, you just know it's a white flag. You don't know, you can't tell one from another. 3 are blue. You can't tell any of these blues from the other blue ones, and 2 are red. Okay, so the approach is, because there are non-distinct items and order matters, because you end up with a different signal when you're sending the flags, we seek the number of permutations of 10 objects of which n1 equal 5 are of white, n2 equal 3 are of blue, and n3 equal 2 are of red. So we use the formula that's up here, and you see 10 is 5 plus 3 plus 2. So this is 10 factorial over 5 factorial times 3 factorial times 2 factorial. You do all of that calculation and you get 2,520 different vertical arrangements. Okay, here's a problem for you to tackle then. How many distinguishable DNA sequences can be formed using 3 of the A acids, 2 C's, 2 G's, and 3 T's? You know what to do. Let's see how you do. Okay, so we use our formula. Now there are then, let's see, so we have 3, 2, 2, and 3. So that's what we have down here. We have the factorials. This is our formula, and we get a little better than 25,000 distinguishable DNA sequences. Now, one of the challenges in solving counting problems is selecting the appropriate formula for the given situation. And it is crucial that you think about, does order matter? So we review this here, and we have, well, 4 different things. Now this, and this is a very nice summary of what we did at a very high level. But we talked about combinations, where order doesn't matter, permutations with replacement, permutations without replacement, and permutations of non-distinct items without replacement. A lot to think about. Now we're going to take one last step, and we're going to use these counting techniques to compute probabilities, building upon what we learned before. So we're going to compute probabilities involving permutations and combinations. Okay, so all right, so we're going to take the counting techniques presented here and use the classical method to compute certain probabilities. Recall that this method, stated by the probability of an event E, is the number of ways that event E can occur divided by the total number of possible outcomes of the experiment, provided each outcome is equally likely. Let's look at an example. This is winning the Illinois lottery. In the Illinois lottery, an urn containing balls numbered 1 through 52, so we know the balls are different. From this urn, 6 balls are randomly chosen without replacement. For a $1 bet, a player gets two sets of 6 numbers. So to win, all 6 numbers must match those chosen, but the order in which they are picked does not matter. That tells you something. What is the probability of winning the lottery? Well, first of all, we say how many different ways can you choose 6 numbers out of 52. So it's 52 choose 6. So you have to calculate that, and that's this number here. And here we use the formula to do that. Now each ticket has 2 chances of winning. So if E is the event, you have a winning ticket, and then there are 2 chances for you to win. So it's 2 divided by this, and so there's about a 1 in 10 million chance of winning the Illinois lottery, as described here. This also applies to acceptance sampling when you're trying to decide whether to accept a shipment or not. So here's the problem. A shipment of 120 fasteners that contained 4 defective fasteners was sent to a manufacturing plant. The plant's quality control manager randomly selects and inspects 5 fasteners. What is the probability that exactly one of the inspected fasteners is defective? Okay, so to find the probability that exactly one fastener is it is defective, we calculate the number of ways we can select exactly one defective fastener in 5 fasteners, and divide that by the number of ways in which 5 fasteners can be selected from 120 fasteners. To choose exactly one defective means that we're choosing 4 from the non-defective from the remaining non-defective things. I don't know if this helps a whole lot reading this, but let's look at what happens. Okay, so in the top, what you're going to be doing, the probability of exactly one defective fastener is 4 choose 1. There were 4 defective ones, you chose one of them, so you need that. That is 4 choose 1. It makes a difference how many you have. But then we're going to multiply that by how many ways can we choose 4 good ones. Well, 4 of them are defective, and now we're choosing a good one. So you see we're picking 5, so this is 4 choose 1. That's where you got the defective one. And this is, out of the 116 remaining, you choose 4 good ones. So you see this is counting. This is our first multiplication principle. This is your 2 tasks. How do you select the defective one? And this is how do you select the good ones. And then you divide it by how many ways could you pick 5 out of 120 to start with. It's not an accident this is 4 and this 116 add up to 120. So you get big old numbers, but when you do it, it's about a 15% chance. And so that's exactly selecting exactly one defective fastener. Another way to say that is if we selected 5 fasteners 100 different times, we expect about 15 of the samples to have exactly one defective fastener. Now, this really does exist. There are grade appeal panels even at COD. So the grade appeal process at a university requires that a jury be structured by selecting 5 individuals randomly chosen from a pool of 8 students and 10 faculty, and both faculty and students serve on that COD. So there are 3 questions. Number A, what is the probability of selecting a jury of all students? What is the probability of selecting a jury of all faculty? And what is the probability of selecting a jury of 2 students and 3 faculty? You know what to do. Let's see how you did. Okay, all students, you have to choose 5 students from the 8 available, and then you choose 0 from the 10 faculty. So 10 choose 0 is 1. That doesn't show up, but he could have written it there. And how many different ways could you pick a 5-person jury from the 18? Well, it's 18 choose 5. So you do this calculation, and I encourage you to try that calculation, but you get it's approximately this. So it's unlikely that you get all students. What's the chance of getting all faculty? Well, here you choose all 5 from the 10 faculty, so it's 10 choose 5. And this is times 8 choose 0, if you will. And then down here, this is again the total number of ways that you can choose 5 from 18. You do the calculation again, you see that it's unlikely. And so, and it's a good thing, I suppose, that it's unlikely, because you would like to have balance on this. So what is the probability of 2 students and 3 faculty? Well, first you have to choose the 2 students, so 8 choose 2 times, and then you have to choose the faculty, 10 choose 3. You multiply those by the multiplication property that we have, and you divide that by how many different ways can you do this. And so you see there's a pretty good chance, it's not unusual, for this to be the balance that happens. In closing, now more than ever, time is precious. Each day must count. Do the math, it will make you strong. And now, more than ever, take care of yourself and of each other. God bless you all.